Do you want to go for a creek fishing adventure? Oh, look at that. There's one. Got him. Got him. Oh yeah. Good morning from the lake. I'm out here with John Dalton from Creek Fishing Adventures, and today I am fishing with a light line for whatever bites. You know the drill, that's kind of what I do. I would like to catch some big rock bass today, but I'd also like to put John on a couple big pumpkinseed. So we're just gonna kind of go with the flow, fish around. I'm gonna fish with a couple different ultralight rods, and then I have some bass equipment just in case, but all in all, I'm just out here for a good time. I don't really have an agenda. Let's get started. How did this person actually break this off? He's using like 60-pound braid. Look at this. That's a free popping frog right there. This thing's brand new. Finally, I'm on the board with an absolute micro bluegill. Well, it's something. We're on the board with a dink. But the good news is we're on the board. There's a rocko. Took me long enough. Been a slow morning so far. This wind is not exactly helping. It's making it kind of challenging to fish our spots thoroughly, but I don't know, it just seems like the bite's really tough right now. There's another one. That's a little bluegill. Tiny. There he is. I knew there'd be a bass on this bank. Decent fish. Golly, he's got some fight in him. Well, there we go. Got a little donkey tail eater right there on this windblown bank. I figured there'd have to be at least a bass or two here. Nothing big, but man, been a slow day so far. So we gotta, figure something out here quick. There's one. Oh. I definitely just had a couple little short strikes. When this wind, oh man. Oh, there, you had to see that. I pulled it away from this little guy. I dropped it back in the water. I ripped it out of the water. It dropped back in. He came darting out of nowhere and grabbed it. That was insane. You have to remember with this wind, it really cuts down on visibility. We have clear water, but there's a lot of churn in this water right now. And they're not always gonna get it right away. So that fish, I pulled it away from him. He was able to locate it. He tracked it back down and we got him. I'll make a cast or two with my whopper plopper real quick, just to see if something's active. It's pretty shallow here, so topwater could be a good bet. Oh, there's one. Yeah, I figured the topwater might get one. Looks like a pretty solid fish. He's right off that shade line. Anytime you have a shade line like that, a lot of times fish set up on that stuff. It's a good little ambush spot. That's a healthy fish. Not a very big one, but nice and chunky. Cool. Got a topwater bass today. All right, now the goal is to avoid treble hooks. Stop doing that. I don't like it when they do that. Little chunk on the wappa ploppa. See you, bud. All right, bite. There he is. Way out here on the end of this point. It's pretty shallow out here. Little guy. Do you want to go for a creek fishing adventure? Well, folks, I tell you what, today has been kind of bad with regards to fishing. It's really, really windy. So we're gonna go try to get away from the wind. We're gonna go way up a creek. We're gonna try to catch some panfish on light line, have some fun, do a little bit of a creek fishing adventure, if you will. I was hoping this lake was gonna be in better shape, but it just seems like the fish are a little inactive right now. So we're gonna make do with the conditions, and I trust we're gonna catch some fish. This was the type of stuff I was really excited to do with John, though, because I mean, his channel's name is Creek Fishing Adventures. So this is like the kind of stuff that I feel like is perfect to take him out and do stuff like this. And Michigan has a lot more stuff like this than I realized. And as I continue to get a feel for fishing in these areas, I'm finding more and more waters like this, and I just want to keep exploring them because these are fun. Look at that. Nice rock bass came out from under the grass. That was cool. I saw him come out from the shadows and just smash this thing. I was just kind of hovering it there next to a pad stem. Nice little rocko. I really, really want to find some big pumpkin seed. I feel like there's gotta be some still back here. My guess is once they're done spawning, they probably still stay in this area because I feel like in my experience, pumpkin seed tend to be more comfortable out of the wind and definitely around grass. And this offers enough depth to it. And there's just tons of insects back here. So my guess is they've got enough food to basically live back here except for the winter. You know, when the winter comes, they probably go find deeper water, but my guess is they're here pretty much the rest of the year. And so I'm hopeful that we're gonna find some pumpkin seeds back here. I think the big thing is just kind of finding these little shaded spots and just dropping your bait in there, but you gotta tuck it up into the vegetation. So it requires a little bit of precision. Oh, look at that, man. Yes. That's a little bluegill. He's super dark though. That was fun to watch. He came out from out of the shadows and just slurped it. Beautiful little gill right there. Love it. See, this is fun because you've got these basically like little undercut banks and you can just kind of hold that jig next to them and just wait for something to zip out and eat it. And one of the things that I really love about using a bright jig is how easy it is to detect bites in situations like this, because all you got to do is wait until that thing disappears. And when it disappears, you know something just sucked it up. And for stuff like, for this style of fishing, I actually think bright colors attract the sunfish quite a bit. I think they actually really like the bright stuff, even in clear water. In my experience, I've had really good success with bright jig heads, bright plastics for sunfish, especially when they're aggressive. Sometimes they like the natural stuff, but I find that they usually like the bright stuff just as well. There's one. Little largemouth. Little baby largemouth decided to come eat. He was in the middle of the channel. Whoa, little slimy guy. Got him. Oh yeah, there's a nice one. God, that's fun. These pumpkin seeds, I'm telling you, this one looks like it might be a hybrid between a bluegill and a pumpkin seed, but it is a beauty. There you have it. Little pumpkin seed. I thought at first he was a bluegill hybrid, and he might be. It's hard to tell. Beautiful fish. Oh, there's a couple pumpkin seed in this little pool right here. It's funny how they kind of group up in certain areas. But John just caught a nice one. About close to an 8-incher, which is a really sizable pumpkin seed. Oh, there's one. Yeah, that's a nice one. Okay, doubling up on pumpkins. All right, John just caught another nice one. And then I just caught that guy right there. Oh, one just flashed on it. Come back. He's got it. God, it's so much fun watching him come up and hammer it. Oh, yeah. That's a healthy one right there. Nice and fat. Look at that. All right. See you, buddy. There he is. Man, they're stacked up in this little pool. I'm fishing it from this angle. John's fishing it from the other side. This one's a hybrid for sure. This one's definitely got bluegill in him. Look at that. Beautiful fish. See you, buddy. Man, they're feisty. They're feisty little guys. Okay, so the value of using this chartreuse head, I'm telling you, if you see the chartreuse head in the water, one doesn't have it yet. If the chartreuse head goes bye-bye like that, one has it. And that one's actually a little tiny bluegill, but the principle still applies. Oh, I got one closing in. Oh. Oh, that was awesome. Oh, this one, okay, so this is my smallest pumpkin seed yet, but he is a beauty. Man, they just are so pretty. Just such a beautiful fish, man. If you can't learn to appreciate the smaller species of fish, I don't know what you're doing, because these fish are fun. Not only do they fight hard on this lighter equipment, but they are some of the prettiest fish that you can ask for in fresh water. I'd put a pumpkin seed against any saltwater species, I don't care. I think freshwater fish are just prettier. It's funny how they're built so much different than bluegill. They're so much fatter. There's one. Oh yeah, that's a better one. God, I wish we had someone here that could just be doing footage underwater of these fish fighting. I'm glad I came back here. You know, this is one of the most unique fisheries that I've been on. I really just love this style of creek fishing. Just out here, it's like a jungle. I mean, it does not feel like it should be in Michigan, but again, surprisingly, Michigan actually has a lot more stuff like this than I ever would have realized. And I'm excited to keep exploring more in the future because this state just has a lot to offer. And there is another beautiful, that's a Pumpkinseed bluegill hybrid. You can tell because this flap thing is bigger. You can also see the vertical barring of the bluegill, but you see that light blue like pattern that a pumpkinseed has. This fish is also not near as fat and girthy as a standard pumpkinseed. Pumpkinseed are definitely built just a little different than bluegill, but that's a beautiful fish. I tell you, these hybrid fish can be very interesting and unique looking. You know, it's funny because most fish in the sunfish family, so like the Lepomis, I'm not a scientist, but all those bluegill, red ear, warmouth, green sunfish, all those fish in that same family, they can actually hybrid, and they can make some interesting looking fish when they do that. And bluegill and pumpkinseed up here in my waters is very, very common to find hybrids. Oh my gosh, I caught the smallest largemouth of the day. I win. You know, one of the interesting things about both red ear and pumpkinseed is how much of their diet actually consists of snails. Both of these species, there's a reason people often call red ear shell crackers. It's because they literally crack shells because they eat so many snails. Now, if I could get this guy out of this grass, that would be great. Thank you. But actually, pumpkinseed eat a lot of snails as well. I don't know about you, but I feel like escargot is, I don't know, it's not something that I'm all that excited about. But, you know what, John? I just caught a warmouth. This is, I don't know if it's a pure warmouth, but it's definitely a warmouth. Man, these creeks, my friends, these are just so cool. You gotta love it, folks. You gotta love it. See ya, buddy. I did not expect to catch a warmouth today. It's another species I don't catch a lot of. All right, folks, how about a quick update? Man, we've been having a lot of fun back here. I think that John actually just saw his second bowfin, so who knows, maybe we'll get one of those by the end of the day. But all in all, this is just kind of my style of fishing. Multi-species, light line, fishing for whatever bites, and doing it in a really cool ecosystem. I mean, there's no doubt about it. This is one of the coolest ecosystems that I've fished this year. All in all, I've just been catching fish on this ultralight right here, and they've all eaten the 1/64 ounce Mule Jig with a Mule Minnow 1.2 in cowpoke. I like that brighter jig head, like I said numerous times. Really, one of my key lessons from today is using a brighter jig head in shallower water conditions when the fish are aggressive enough to eat that brighter color. It's such a game changer because with sight fishing, you just watch that jig go bye-bye and then you set the hook. It's that simple. You don't need a sensitive rod, you don't need expensive gear if you can use that technique. Obviously, it's always fun to have a sensitive rod, expensive gear, that sort of thing, but that's not always the case for everyone. So using certain techniques with any kind of gear can position you to catch fish. You don't always have to spend a lot of money to catch fish. It's more a matter of the experience and trying techniques that are proven. And for me, that bright jig head technique, it's a proven winner for me. Watch my chartreuse jig head. This is why I love using darker jig. That's why I like using the brighter jigs. Whoa! Okay, I'm sorry, but I mean, I was trying to get him off of, you know, I didn't intend to do that. This little female bluegill. It went flying. Sent that one into no man's land. There you go. There we go. What is that, a little tiny largemouth? Sure is. I've got my little dinky bass release hole right here. You can use a scupper hole to release fish if you catch them small enough. Oh my gosh, this guy just came after it and smashed it. And that's a sizable gill. That's a pure gill right there. And he's fat. Got a little hunchback. Healthy fish though. It's been clearly eating lots of insects or whatever. Lots of minnows and insects back here. There's no shortage of food. It's like a buffet year round. With a channel going through, that next one like vanilla lake. Yellow perch, yes! I watched this fish. He was in between 2 or 3 bluegill, and I was targeting specifically this yellow perch because I wanted another species. Man, he's built like a dang dart. He's so skinny and long, but he's a beautiful fish. Beautiful fish, another species. It's interesting to me when there's perch in these creeks like this. I just wouldn't expect them to be in a place like this. Got him. God, I love doing that. I don't care that it's a smaller fish. Being able to just kind of put this up there underneath that undercut bank and watch the bite. It's not about the size of the fish, it's more about the action of the bite. It's very interesting.
I think you can throw about anything, but I think I need something.
Little largemouth, man, I got my hopes up. My jig just disappeared so fast, and I was like, oh gosh, it's gonna be a big one. No, just a little bass. That's okay though. There's a largemouth. He was sitting deep in that little creek channel right there. And you know, on an ultralight, that's a nice little fish, especially when you get them in current. Current makes everything fight harder. One, because they're growing up in such, you know, conditions where they always have to work hard, so they're getting stronger. And two, because that current is actually fighting against you too. That's a beautiful fish. These largemouth are very pretty in here. They have such distinct lateral lines. I think that generally speaking, I find that anything coming out of current usually looks prettier too. Look at that bass. See you, buddy. I just let that sit still and drift down into the deeper part of this little channel, and he ate it just like that fish did, except this one appears to be a bluegill. There you go. 2 fish in a row, 2 different species. My kind of fishing, boys, my kind of fishing. Nice little gill. Got him. 3 in a row. Largemouth, bluegill, largemouth. So technically speaking, if there is any form of pattern here, I'm gonna catch a bluegill on my next cast. Let's see. Let's see if there's a pattern. All right, watch my chartreuse jig. Watch it, watch it, watch it. He's got a short strike. Got him. Bluegill, largemouth, bluegill, largemouth, bluegill. John's got a tail right now. His rudder has about a 20 feet of grass coming off of it. Hey, my coolest catch of the day. Check it out. Little tiny turtle. What's up, turtle guy? Always fun coming back in these creeks and admiring more than just the fish, but also admiring the other species that are present. Let's turn this guy loose. See you, buddy. Gotta love it. Got to love it. Well, folks, we did a lot of exploring today, but I think we're both kind of tired of fishing in this creek, and we're gonna get off of this lake, and I think we actually might go fish a little bit more. I've still got some time left in the day to fish, so I don't know what's next. We might go chase some smallmouth again, I'm really not sure. All in all though, today was an absolute blast. Caught a lot of fish. I think 6 total species, which is pretty cool, and I think I caught pretty much all of them on the Mule Jig 1/64th with the Mule Minnow 1.2, and I was just throwing that in the shallows around little undercut banks and whatnot, and I was just watching that chartreuse jig disappear. So absolutely a fun way to catch fish. I'm telling you what, if you can find a spot like this, you're in luck. Okay, well, I don't know. I'm a little brain dead right now. I need to drink some water, maybe eat some food. We'll catch you next time.